Alright, listen closely. Only reason I got this smile on my goddamn face is because now I get to do this poem. And I don't know why I like this one so much. The ideas behind it aren't even ones to like manifest my motivation of the day. But I just know why I wrote it. Let's just say that. I know why I wrote it. And it wasn't even about the message of the poem at the time. It was about the situation of the day. It did not last long enough. But anyway. Do you remember when you were too young for faith? Do you remember a communion of cookies and juice while you waited in the kids' room because you were too infantile to hear what the pastor had to say, but did you hear God anyway? Do you remember your beliefs? Did you know that any mortal sin committed before the age of 12 is mute in the eyes of the Father because children are meant to be seen, not heard? But I bet you learned how to pray anyway. Anyway, I believe we don't celebrate our religion, but we mourn our Savior, condone this childish behavior due to grief-stricken madness, and the saddest part is when you begin to blacklist belief systems like Allah, Buddha, or Santa. And no, I never knew why Rudolph's nose shines so bright, but I just felt like it did, and that feels like faith to me now. So, who are you? No. Who are we to decide if that's a lie or not? How old is your God? Can his divinity be marked in dashes on the threshold of the kitchen door? Does your God grow? You see, I had this mighty morphin Messiah, a sire, a higher power that persuaded me to be a good boy. My Sabbath was Saturday morning cartoons, nestled in my Sakuth of covers. It was funny how time could erode the divine into social decline with decadence, blonde obedience, corporate rats, political snails, and of course, puppy love tales. See, now I have my hands firmly Elmer's glued together in class, sending love letters to God like, do you even like me? Check yes or no. I remember when I used to know. No. I remember these comic book Bibles that showed us we were reliable, taught us we were valuable, and preached that with a simple sense of serendipity, someday you might be a superhero. And that's so much better than any holy story played with allegory scenarios I've ever heard. And, you know, the duality of this reality is palpable. And in actuality, all this just rinses my head after being brainwashed before bed, and I'm still waiting on God to tuck me in. Wondering if angels even heed the prayers of parasites that clean the Wi-Fi like nightlights when the roles were reversed. And you played God with the life level to the leaves on the ground. Did the ants pray? Did they ever make a sound? So you know what? The word of the day in church is acceptance, and maybe I'll accept that God's miracles cost a bit more wisdom than I have to ask, but maybe. If I raise my hand as high as I can, weighted down by the wax wings of world religion, and stand on the tips of my toes, who knows? I might just fly away like a superhero.